This is Carol Shoemate with Type Resources, and I'm here with Bob McAlpin and Amy Evers. We want to tell you about the Majors Personality Type Inventory, which is our favorite personality assessment tool. It's our favorite because it's faster and it's more accurate. It is also less expensive, as you will see. We often refer to it as the PTI. Why use the majors? Why do we use it? Speed, as I said, it's faster. It has only 51 items. This is a significant difference, as you will see. It has outstanding accuracy, and we'll show you the differential there as well. It has a much better price than the chief competitor, and it is non-prescriptive. The language is very non-judgmental and non-stereotyping. In addition, you get many more reports, much more information for one price. Let's look in detail at the speed, price, and accuracy of it. I think you can see right off the bat that the number of items is clearly far fewer items than the MBTI has. The price is also clearly different, $9 versus almost $13. And the accuracy is 90 to 95%. There are a number of reasons for this, and we'll go into it in the course of the slide. A couple of the reasons are right below it, the item weighting and the type clarification. In the item weighting, the PTI uses something called differential intensity weighting, and this is something you'll see on a lot of new, innovative new instruments. It's a very effective way to assess a population. The MBTI still uses the item response theory, and then the PTI also has something entirely unique to itself called a type precision module, which kicks in when clients have an unclear type. I want to say that the type precision module is only available with the electronic version right now. And that is what makes the number of items under PTI items flexible. The most number of items that a client would have to be assessed on would be 71, but it could be anywhere in there from 51 to 71. I can say, too, that I personally use the self-scorable all the time, which does not have the type precision module, and even without it, the self-scorable PTI is highly accurate, and I have used it with clients who were never able to get a clear score before from multiple administrations of the MBTI. They were able to get a clear score with the PTI self-scorable. Finally, you get more information. If you look at the basic PTI report format, the PTI only costs $9, and that includes the report format. It's the equivalent of the top two items on the MBTI side, what they call the client profile and the interpretive report. You get both a client profile and an interpretive report with the PTI for $9. So with the MBTI, you're looking at really almost $37 there. I think it comes out to $36.90 for those two reports. And then they have other reports that are, each one is separately priced. If you want more reports for the PTI, the alternate PTI only costs $1 more. And you get, in addition, temperament and Linda Barron's interaction styles and the 8 cognitive processes. So you get a whole lot for only $10. Bob?
Thanks, Carol. As we look at the PTI, let's talk a moment about its accuracy and how it achieved this 90 to 95% accuracy. And the secret to that really is the reliability-based accuracy assessment. As Dr. Majors was developing his instrument, what he did was he gathered people of each of the 16 types who were very clear of their type and had them respond to the items to see if the items worked for those people who were very clear. And once he had items that worked for people who were clear of their type, then he went and had people who had never been introduced to type take the instrument. After they had taken the instrument, he then gave them an interpretation to get them to a best fit type code. Once they had gotten to a best fit type code and he knew that code, he then compared that code with the responses on the instrument to see how well the instrument worked for not only people who were clear about their type code and knew it, but also people who were new to type and did not know it. Now, as he was doing that and working, trying to make his instrument as accurate as possible, what he realized is that forced choice items didn't work, or the forced choice format didn't work. And so he moved to differential intensity weighting, which allows each individual person taking the instrument to weight each item for themselves. So I get to weight the item for me, and you get to weight it for you. We are not stuck with weightings from a norm group. Now, in addition to that, he then had the type precision module that Carol talked about or mentioned, where if a person is reporting an unclear preference, as their points are very close, like with less than 4 points between the left hand and the right hand preference, he generated 5 additional questions that were specifically designed to help people that were scoring very close between those two choices to indicate a preference or select their best fit, their better preference out of that. So let's look at how he did that. And so if we take this and we look at the PT format, we can see that we get to choose between either listen for accuracy in the person's reasoning or listen for what's important to a person. Now, if neither of those fit, or that if I am torn so between them, I don't know which one is more like me, then I can select the neutral response. And if I select the neutral response, no points are scored for either the left-hand preference or the right-hand preference. On the other hand, if I decide that listening for accuracy in a person's reasoning is more like me, I then get to decide, is it somewhat like me or very like me? And that somewhat like me, very like me is applying that differential intensity weighting. And compare that to the forced choice format, where you get something like, do you more often let your values govern your logic or logic govern your values? And you get to check one or the other. And what research has shown is when given this format, very seldom will a person refuse to respond to either one of the other. So by having a format that doesn't allow for a neutral really increases the probability that a forced choice format instrument would miss. And so the PTI, by having that neutral, really increased, and the differential intensity weighting really increased its accuracy. Now let's look at how it handles ties. Now the PTI approached ties differently than the MBTI. Many of you might be familiar with the MBTI. On the MBTI, we had a model of left-hand letter, right-hand letter, and the tie was always broken toward the right-hand letter. With the PTI, those items off the type precision module are used to break that tie. So if the person were tied between thinking and feeling, those 5 new questions out of that type precision module are generated. The person now responds to them, and now we see their response is indicating a preference for thinking. Now if we